When Emily looked out the window, big flakes of snow were falling, and they had started to cover the ground. "I want to make a snowball," she said. Soon Emily was outside in her backyard. She took some snow in her hands and patted it together. She rolled it on the ground and she made a snowball. Since Emily was a little girl, she made a little snowball, but she was proud of it. When it was time to come inside, she wanted to bring the snowball in the house and play with it. But her mother had told her to leave it on the back porch near the door. And you know what would have happened if she had taken it in the house. By the next morning, there was so much snow that all the schools were closed. Emily and her older brother and sister hurried out to play. They found the little snowball just as Emily had left it. Emily took the little snowball with her. "Let's make it bigger," suggested her sister. And she helped the other children pack big handfuls of snow around it. Then the other children started pushing and rolling it. Over and over the snowball rolled, picking up more and more snow and growing bigger and bigger. The snowball became too big and too heavy for Emily and her brother and sister to roll, and the other boys and girls from the neighborhood helped them. But when they finished, Emily's snowball was big. It was as big as all of the children put together. Pretty big snowball. These pages are sticking. That night, more snow fell. The next day, everyone had to stay home. Emily and her father went outside to see the snowball, and some of the men in the neighborhood came over. "Whose snowball is this?" asked one of the men. "It's mine," said Emily. "It's a big one," he said. "Well, why don't we make it bigger?" Soon Emily and her father and the neighbors were working on the snowball, pushing and rolling it. Over and over the snowball rolled, picking up more and more snow and growing bigger and bigger. They pushed the snowball from one yard to another, down the street to the end of the block. "This snowball is as big and heavy as a tow truck," said Emily's father. It was too big for anyone's yard, so Emily and her father and the neighbors rolled it across the street to the park, and they left it on top of a high hill. But the snowball didn't stay there. It kept on going. It started down the hill. Over and over the snowball rolled, faster and faster, picking up more and more snow and growing bigger and bigger, 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 bigger. Finally, at the bottom of the hill, it stopped rolling. Emily's snowball was enormous. It was as big as an elephant. By the next day, the snow had stopped falling. Emily and her mother went to the park. A big truck was clearing the road, but it had stopped because right in front of it, in the middle of the road, was Emily's snowball. The driver got out to take a look. "I wonder whose snowball this could be," he remarked. "It's mine," said Emily. "You sure have a big one, little girl," the man said. And it has to move. It's blocking everything." The driver got back in his truck. "Climb in," he said to Emily and her mother. "We'll get this snowball out of the way." Emily and her mother got into the truck, and the driver started it again. And then, with the help of the other men who were working in the park, carefully, very carefully, pushed the snowball out of the road and rolled it down a long, low hill. Over and over the snowball rolled, picking up more and more snow and growing bigger and bigger and bigger. The driver left the snowball near the children's playground. Then he looked again. "This snowball," he said, "is huge. It's as big as a mountain." The people from everywhere came to see the snowball. They all said it was as big as a mountain. Everybody said it was the biggest snowball they'd ever seen, and everyone thought it had to be the world's biggest. Teachers and scientists from the university came to study the snowball and to measure it. They found that it was really the world's biggest, and they put up a sign, and it said, "Emily Snowball, the world's biggest." There were stories about the snowball in the newspapers and books, and there were pictures of Emily and her snowball on television. All winter long, the snowball stayed in the park, big as a mountain. Children wanted to climb it, so the city put a rope ladder on the snowball, up one side and down the other. Then a platform with a railing was placed on the top, and the children could stand there and look all around. Emily and her brother and sister came to the park every day to see the snowball and to climb it. Everyone loved it. Finally, the weather started getting warmer. Snow melted from the ground, but Emily's snowball stayed as big as a mountain. The sun grew warmer. Birds began to sing in the park. Slowly, the snowball started melting and turning to water. Emily's snowball was no longer as big as a mountain. Flowers began to blossom. School children played baseball in the park. Emily played in the sandbox. The weather became warmer and warmer, and the snow melted more and more. And Emily's snowball got littler and littler and littler and littler. It wasn't as big as a mountain, or an elephant, or a truck, or any of the children. It wasn't even as big as a little ball. One day when Emily went to the park, all that was left of her snowball was a puddle of water. Emily put one foot and then the other in the puddle and splashed the water from her snowball into the bright sunshine. She splashed again and again and again and again until all the water was gone. But the sign was still there, and everyone remembered, Emily's snowball, the world's biggest. And that's the end of the story. Thank you for being good listeners.